Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Disney Plus series that has officially ended its 6-episode saga, is honestly pretty good. Now, I'm going to be getting into certain things, guys, but it's basically a follow-up from my previous video about this whole situation. I made it about a couple of weeks ago, and essentially I was talking about the controversy surrounding Reva, also the actress that played Reva, Moses Ingram. Essentially, Star Wars tried to, create this story around her and even, in and outside of the actual series, and it caused some controversy, but nevertheless, right now, Obi-Wan Kenobi is the most watched show on Disney Plus, and I don't think a lot of shows can even do that to begin with. And honestly, it really did give me a new perspective on the 6-episode saga, excluding the sequels, which I'm not even going to talk about. That's for a whole other video. But it really gave me a different perspective on Star Wars and the first film that came out in 1977. And we're going to be just, quickly touching base on the Moses Ingram situation as well. But before we do, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and comment down below if you've watched the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series. I definitely want to see your opinions down below. Did you think it was good? Did you think it was decent? Did you think it was awful? Did you think it was a cash grab? I want to hear all of the opinions down below. But let's get into it. So, just a quick spoiler warning. I'm going to be talking spoilers here, so if you haven't seen the show yet, I highly recommend it if you haven't gotten spoiled already over Twitter, because pretty much everything that you would be annoyed to see is all over Twitter, and if you're on that social media platform, you've probably already seen what I'm going to be talking about. But again, spoiler warning. So this was a 6-episode series, I guess, right? And I honestly have to say, for the first 3 or 4 episodes, man, it just didn't hit right. And I think that's mainly because they really tried to integrate Reva, aka Moses Ingram. And I'll say it once and I'll say it again. She did not deserve any of the racist comments. Like, if you're racist towards her, that's terrible, right? She's an actress trying to, make it, and she got a Star Wars gig. Any one of us would have taken that exact same thing, even if the writing wasn't great, right? Like, everyone's trying to secure a bag. So that's one thing. The second thing is that she's not the person that you should be blaming for her character and her poor execution, right? At the end of the day, it revolves around Disney, and Disney shoehorning her into this entire series was a big flop and totally did not need to happen whatsoever, because honestly, the best parts of this series came in episodes 5 and 6, and Reva didn't play that much of a pivotal role in 5 and 6. She was kind of just existing there, and if you took her out of those episodes, it would have been still solid. If Vader was chasing Kenobi for 6 episodes, or, chasing other Jedi, and then finally Kenobi, or vice versa, maybe Kenobi, you get his backstory since it's his show for 6 episodes, and he's running away from Vader or dealing with Vader. If that was the entirety of the 6-episode series, I would love that, actually. Reva being in this whole series just kind of felt like filler. It felt like Disney was trying to sell more toys and sell another Disney Plus series, which may happen with Reva and her backstory, right? So that's basically my opinion there. I don't think she deserved the hate. I think Disney deserves the hate. And honestly, that opinion that Disney, tweeted out, oh, if you don't like Reva, you must be racist. Come on, guys. Like, anyone with this, a common sense, anyone with a brain or even a brain cell knows that that's BS, right? You can, love or hate Reva, but at the end of the day, if you didn't like her character in this series, you're not most likely, I would like to think, racist, right? And she didn't deserve any of the racist comments that she did receive at the end of the day. But let's talk about the actual episodes within this series and why I don't know, I have a Star Wars itch, I guess. I'm really excited, and honestly, in my opinion, I think this is probably the best thing Disney has done with Star Wars, right? So I'm not going to go through the whole storyline. I really want to talk about episodes 5 and 6, because that's where, this series shined. In 5, we got, the backstory between Anakin and Obi-Wan. There was a 1v1 with them back in the day. when they were both younger, and they kind of just did like a flashback there, and I really loved to see that. I liked, Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor just, going back to their, old selves from 17, 18, 19 years ago, which is insane to even think about. I feel so old saying that. That was a really good touch, and it played throughout episode 5, right? When Vader, was getting the upper hand, or, when he was getting closer towards Obi-Wan, there was a flashback point in, the Hayden versus Ewan fight that, kind of just mirrored whatever was happening in the contemporary portion of episode 5. So if Darth Vader was getting the upper hand on Obi-Wan, then Hayden was also getting the upper hand on Obi-Wan in their fight, and then vice versa. And it was really nice to see that. I thought that was a really solid touch, and apparently the director the director for that episode was different than the other ones. And honestly, if that person directed, more of the episodes in this series, I think it could have been a much better show. And maybe, who knows, maybe they could have integrated Reva to still be in the show, but not be so in your face as much as she was, without really having any heavy impact within the show, if that makes sense. Again, should have been about Darth Vader v. Obi-Wan, right? Then episode 6 happened, and let me just tell you guys, this single episode carried this entire series, right? I mean, you had the Vader versus Obi-Wan fight. You had Hayden Christensen unmasked, damaged up as Vader. That, my friends, is Star Wars. That, emotion, the tension between both of those two characters, between both of the actors. They know how to play these characters because they've been doing it. They did it for 6-7 years, and then again they did it once more in this series, and you could really tell that they are itching to come back and play these characters to the T. And the really cool thing about this episode, which I personally enjoyed the most, was Vader's and Hayden's kind of voice, just kind of mixing up or blending together. It was very emotional to see all of that. And then also Ewan, killed it, right? He was teary-eyed telling, to Vader / Anakin, "I'm sorry." It really gives me a different perspective of episode 4, because there were a few things, right? I mean, the first thing is that Owen Lars and Aunt Beru, they were so against Luke, leaving and things like that, and in episode 4, and you could clearly see why they basically were sheltering him because of the close encounter with Reva. Then you also had, the whole tension between Vader and Obi-Wan. Episode 4, Vader goes, "Before I was the learner, now I am the master." And then Obi-Wan in episode 4 says, "Only a master of evil, Darth," and he calls him Darth. And that's one of the pivotal moments in this entire show, because as soon as Anakin says, "I'm not your failure, Obi-Wan," and basically just says, "I'm the one that killed Anakin," and then Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, is just teary-eyed, kills it, and says, "Then my friend is truly gone," and he said, "Goodbye, Darth." It really just kind of connects the dots and hits home on the point. Truthfully and honestly, Disney Star Wars could have easily made this a movie. I think it would have absolutely crushed it at the box office if it was something like a blend of episode 5 and 6. It could have been, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I don't think they even needed the first 4 episodes. You could have mixed and matched characters. You could have taken out a lot of dialogue, a lot of the chase scenes, a lot of the filler that was in this series, but nonetheless, this series crushed it. And quite frankly, it just gives me that different perspective on Star Wars. And I really did, at the end of the day, enjoy the show. It's better to have this series with Ewan and Hayden coming back than never getting it at all. So I think my perception and my opinion is that I'm appreciative that they've actually gone to this length to bring these guys back and to bring these characters back. Reva is going to get her own story. Personally, I think she could have had her own Disney Plus show. It probably wouldn't have been as great, right? Because, she's just this character we don't know anything about. And the fact that they shoehorned her into the show means that we basically were forced to watch this character progress. But again, going back to my point, it's better to have this show and this series than not have it at all. So I really did enjoy this. I'm trying to, here and there, I definitely try to be more positive in some of my videos, and I'm a Star Wars nerd, as some of you probably already know. And honestly, like, this was a great, break from all of the negative things that we got going on right now. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about. So, hope you all did enjoy this video. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, comment down below what you think about this, and what you thought about this series. And I'll see you in the next video. I'm Cryptix. Maybe we'll rewatch Obi-Wan Kenobi, and, maybe especially 5 and 6. And signing off.